Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're digging into something super relevant if you're involved in tech at all. The IT job market, where things stand right now and where they seem to be heading in 2025.
And we've got some great source material you brought us for this one.
hmm
It's a recent piece from Techshift called Key Trends Shaping the IT Job Market in 2025. Came out just back in March.
That's the one. So our mission here is really to, well, unpack what this article is saying, pinpoint the biggest trends, figure out what they actually mean for the market, and probably most important, what it means for you. Maybe you're looking for a job, maybe you're hiring, maybe you're leading a whole tech division.
Right, and the article starts by painting this picture. It calls the market being at a pivotal crossroads,
Mm.
which sounds about right. After, all the huge shifts, digital transformation, cloud, remote work,
Yeah.
the IT sector's shown it's pretty resilient.
hmm
But resilient doesn't mean static. Things are still changing, and changing fast.
Yeah, that resilience point is interesting, isn't it? Especially after all the turbulence we've seen. And the article gives us some numbers to back that up right away, like 228,000 new tech jobs added just in January 2025.
That's a big number for 1 month. And it also mentioned over 476,000 active IT job openings currently listed. So yeah, it really signals that companies are still putting serious money into tech talent.
Okay, so overall demand seems strong. But you said it's changing fast. The
Yeah.
article suggests this growth isn't like everywhere equally.
No, definitely not. It's uneven. Some areas are surging, others might be cooling off or changing shape. And the biggest force driving that change, according to this TechShift piece, is undoubtedly AI, artificial intelligence.
AI. No surprise there. It feels like it's touching everything. How's it hitting the IT job scene specifically?
Well, the article talks about this kind of dual impact. On one hand, you've got disruption.
Okay.
AI automation is getting better and better at handling routine, repetitive stuff. Think like basic clerical tasks, some admin functions, even some of the more entry-level IT support jobs.
Right, the stuff that maybe doesn't require complex problem solving.
Exactly. Those tasks are increasingly being automated.
Which, could make things tougher for people just starting out. We should probably circle back to that. But what's the other side? The opportunity part.
The flip side is AI is actually creating whole new types of roles. The article lists things like AI specialists, obviously, data scientists who focus specifically on AI, AI ethicists, which is becoming huge.
Ethicists, yeah. Ensuring it's used responsibly.
Right. And then there's this one that really jumped out, prompt engineers.
Prompt engineers. Sounds like someone who talks to the AI.
Pretty much. It's like people who are experts at crafting the right questions and instructions to get the most useful, accurate results out of these powerful AI models. It's a skill that basically popped up overnight.
Wow.
And the demand for any kind of AI expertise is just booming. There's a stat in the article that really hammers this home. 26%, 1 in 4 of all tech job postings now list AI skills as a requirement.
26%. That feels like a lot, really quickly.
It is. And get this, the article says that's a 98% increase compared to the previous year.
Whoa, nearly doubled in 1 year.
Yeah. So needing to understand AI, having some AI literacy, it's not just a nice to have anymore if you're in IT.
It's becoming fundamental.
The article literally calls it table stakes, basic requirement. And it's not just the hands-on coding. Organizations desperately need people who understand AI governance, the ethical side, how to manage these systems, which means, companies have to invest in training their people up.
Okay, so AI is massive, huge driver. What other big areas of demand did the article point to?
It grouped together 3 other key areas that are still absolutely core to business strategy and digital transformation: cloud, cybersecurity, and data science. Not exactly brand new, but still incredibly high demand.
Makes sense. Those feel foundational now. Cloud migration isn't done, security threats aren't going away, and everyone wants insights from their data.
Exactly that. With cloud, businesses are still moving workloads, optimizing what they have on platforms like AWS, Azure, Google Cloud. So you still need lots of cloud architects, network engineers who understand cloud, DevOps specialists.
The people who keep the digital infrastructure running smoothly.
Precisely. And then cybersecurity. I mean, that's almost a given. Threats get more sophisticated, so protecting data, protecting systems is a massive priority. Constant demand for cybersecurity engineers, privacy experts, you name it.
Always needed, yeah.
And data science and analytics.
Yeah.
Companies have got mountains of data, right?
Yeah.
But data itself isn't useful. You need people who can dig in, find the patterns, extract the actual insights that help make better business decisions.
And the article stressed something here, didn't it? It wasn't just about being a tech whiz with data.
That's a really important point they make.
Yes.
It emphasized that success in these roles needs both the technical chops, knowing the tools, the stats, and solid business acumen.
Mm.
You need to understand what the business is trying to achieve.
Ah, okay.
And critically, you need to be able to communicate complex findings
Okay.
clearly to people who aren't data experts. Talk to leadership, explain the so what.
Technical skill plus translation skill. Got it. Okay, let's shift gears a bit. How are people actually doing these IT jobs? The whole work setup has changed so much.
Yeah, and that leads straight into the next big trend the article covers. Remote and hybrid work is basically the new standard now. It's not a temporary thing from the pandemic anymore. It's really solidified as a permanent feature of the IT world.
So hybrid work isn't just a perk, it's more like an expectation.
Pretty much. The article mentioned over half of companies have actually formalized their hybrid work policies, and fully remote roles are common, which, totally changes where companies can find talent.
That's a huge plus, right? Accessing a much bigger talent pool.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
You're not limited to people who live within commuting distance of your office anymore. You can find skills anywhere. But the article also highlights the new challenges this brings up. Things like figuring out fair salaries when people live in different places with different costs of living, making sure teams have the right tools to actually collaborate effectively when they're not in the same room, and a much bigger focus now on employee well-being, preventing burnout, work-life balance in this distributed setup.
Right. It's not just about letting people work from home. It's building a whole system around it that actually works long term.
Exactly. And the companies doing it well, the ones offering flexibility, maybe some help with home office setup, focusing on mental health support, the article found they're way better positioned to get and keep the best people. It's part of the whole package now.
And thinking about talent pools changing, that kind of connects to another trend mentioned, the rise of these regional tech hubs.
Yes, exactly. This decentralization is a really interesting development. While the big traditional tech cities are obviously still major players, you're seeing these other regional hubs really start to boom.
Yeah, the article mentioned places in the UK like Manchester, Edinburgh, Bristol, Birmingham, and similar things happening in like smaller cities, maybe near universities in North America and Europe too.
Right, and this has a couple of effects. For companies, it means they can potentially tap into a more diverse talent pool, maybe one that's a bit more cost-effective than, say, Silicon Valley or London.
Makes sense.
And for job seekers, it means there are more opportunities opening up outside those traditional, often very expensive tech capitals.
Kind of spreads the opportunity around a bit more. Now, there was one trend in the article that sounded a bit, well, concerning. The situation for entry-level roles.
Yeah, that's definitely a challenge highlighted. The article points to this trend where the number of entry-level IT positions seems to be shrinking, particularly in areas like basic software development tasks and frontline IT support.
And the reason is, back to automation and AI again.
That seems to be a big part of it, yeah. A lot of those more routine junior-level tasks that used to be the first step on the ladder, AI and automation tools are getting pretty good at handling those now.
So it makes it harder for people without experience to get that first foot in the door through the old routes.
It potentially does, yeah. So AI is creating these high-skilled jobs, but maybe squeezing things at the entry point.
Did the article suggest what companies are doing or should be doing about that?
It did mention that some companies, the more forward-thinking ones, are trying to address this by setting up things like apprenticeships or structured mentorship programs, basically creating new pathways to bring in and develop early career talent.
That feels necessary, doesn't it? And this whole situation ties directly into what felt like one of the article's main messages, the growing importance of skills over just having a degree.
Oh, hugely emphasized. The article really hammers home that demonstrable practical skills are becoming much more important than, say, what specific university you went to, or even having a traditional four-year degree in some cases.
And wasn't there a striking statistic about that?
There was. It said 80%, 80% of employers now say they prioritize proven skills over formal degrees when they're hiring.
80%. Wow. That is a fundamental shift. Less about the piece of paper, more about, can you actually do the job?
Absolutely. Which means for anyone in IT or wanting to get into IT, things like continuous learning, upskilling, just being adaptable, they're not optional anymore. They're essential for staying relevant. And for companies, too, they need to support that learning to keep their teams competitive.
Okay, so with all this high demand, the need for these specific skills, you mentioned AI skills getting a premium. You'd assume tech folks must be pretty happy with their paychecks. But the article found something different.
Yeah, it's a bit of a paradox, they pointed out. Despite all the demand and talk of a war for talent, satisfaction with compensation among tech workers is, well, surprisingly low.
Really? What were the numbers?
Only 41% said they were happy with their pay, which means 59%, the majority, feel like they're underpaid.
That seems like a big disconnect given the demand. Did they give an average salary figure?
They did. The average tech salary mentioned was $112,521.
Hmm.
But, and this is key, it immediately noted that having those really in-demand skills, especially AI and machine learning, commands a serious premium, like nearly 18% higher pay on average.
Ah, so having the right skills makes a huge difference to your paycheck. And I guess that dissatisfaction, combined with the high demand and the premium for certain skills, must be driving a lot of movement in the market, people looking for better deals.
Totally. The article puts a number on that too. 47% of tech professionals are actively looking for a new job right now.
Nearly half.
Yeah. That's a huge amount of churn. It means companies aren't just fighting to hire talent. They're constantly battling to keep the talent they already have. It really is a war for talent out there.
Okay, so we've covered AI changing everything, the core growth areas like cloud and cyber, the shift to hybrid, regional hubs popping up, the squeeze at the entry level, and this big focus on skills and the pay paradox. What specific skills did the article say are the absolute must-haves for 2025? Both tech skills and maybe the softer stuff.
Right. It gave a pretty clear list of the hot technical skills.
Yeah.
Let's see. AI and machine learning, obviously number one. Data science and analytics. Cybersecurity expertise. Cloud computing, both architecture and operations. Software development, particularly full stack. And DevOps.
DevOps again, yeah.
Uh,
Bridging development and operations.
Right. And also business intelligence and process automation skills. Those are the big technical buckets.
Okay, the heavy hitters on the tech side. But you mentioned earlier, and the article really stressed this too, the importance of soft skills, didn't it?
It absolutely did. And this is so important. The tech skills might get your resume noticed, but the soft skills are what make you truly effective, especially in these modern, often distributed team environments.
So what were the key ones listed?
Things like trustworthiness, can people rely on you? Collaboration, can you work well with others? Share knowledge. Adaptability, how well do you handle constant change? And operational efficiency, basically, thinking about how to do things better, smarter, faster.
So it's not just about being a brilliant coder in isolation. You need to be a reliable team player who can roll with the punches and cares about the results.
That's exactly it. Those are the skills that make the technical expertise actually translate into success for the team and the company.
So let's try and boil this down for the employers, the IT leaders listening. What are the so what's for them? What does the article say they need to be doing in response to all these trends?
Okay, yeah, the article gives some pretty direct advice for organizations. First off, talent strategy has got to be absolutely central. That means competitive pay, yes, but also clear paths for people to grow their careers, and really focusing on building a strong, inclusive company culture. That's key for keeping people.
And investing in their current workforce.
Oh, critical. Upskilling is not a nice to have. Companies have to invest in continuous learning, especially in those hot areas. AI, cloud, cyber. It's how you keep your workforce from becoming obsolete.
And finding new talent in this crazy market.
They need to think broader. Use remote work to your advantage. Look at those emerging regional hubs. Make real deliberate efforts to bring in people from diverse backgrounds, underrepresented groups. Widen the net.
And dealing with that entry-level gap we talked about.
Yeah, the recommendation is to be proactive. Develop proper pathways like apprenticeships or mentorships to actually build your own pipeline of talent, especially since the traditional entry points are changing.
And sort of underpinning all of that, the organization itself needs to be flexible, nimble.
Definitely.
Yeah.
The article really implies that fostering a culture of adaptability and innovation is essential. You need to empower your people to try new things, adopt new tech, new ways of working, not fight against the changes.
The article kind of wraps up that advice section with a pretty sharp question aimed at leaders, right?
It does. It basically asks, is your organization proactively changing its talent strategy? Really focusing on skills, investing in the training, building that culture, or are you just kind of reacting and risking getting left behind?
Yeah.
It makes the point that the winners in 2025 will be the companies that are skills first, that are embracing AI, and that are smart about finding talent wherever it is.
That question really puts it plainly, doesn't it? Are you driving the change in your talent approach, or are you going to be scrambling to catch up?
Exactly. Trying to stick to the old ways, only hiring locally, only looking at degrees that just won't cut it anymore.
Well, this has been a really thorough deep dive into that TechShift article. It paints a picture of an IT job market in 2025 that's definitely dynamic, shaped hugely by AI, yes, but also by this massive shift towards valuing skills and these new models of working.
And understanding these shifts is just crucial, isn't it?
Yeah.
Whether you're the one looking for a job, you're the one hiring, or you're setting the strategy for the whole company, you need to know this stuff.
The article finishes with this one last thought, kind of a powerful idea to leave you, the listener, with.
Yeah, it says that navigating the IT job market in 2025 isn't just about filling open jobs. It's actually about building the future. And the choices that get made right now by individuals, by teams, by whole organizations, those choices determine who leads, who follows, and, well, who gets left behind in this whole story.
Building the future, not just reacting to it. And it kind of turns that into a question for you, doesn't it? Makes you think, is your company or maybe even your own career path going to be an author writing the next chapter here? Or just a footnote?
Author or footnote. That really makes you stop and think about your own approach, your team's strategy. That's a strong takeaway.
It really is. This was fascinating, really getting into the weeds of where the IT market is and where it seems to be going. Thanks for digging into this source material with us.
Yeah, thanks for bringing it. Definitely gives us all a lot to think about and maybe act on.
Absolutely. Keep thinking, keep adapting.
And keep writing your chapter.